If you have had a look at the Hadoop ecosystem, you may have noticed the yellow elephant trunk logo that says Hive. But do you know what Hive is all about and what it does? At a high level, some of Hive's main features include querying and analyzing large datasets stored in HDFS. It supports easy data summarization, ad hoc queries, and analysis of vast volumes of data stored in various databases and file systems that integrate with Hadoop. In other words, in the world of big data, Hive is huge. This figure shows Hadoop ecosystem. Look it closely. In this Hive tutorial, let's start by understanding why Hive came into existence. Let us begin by knowing the history of Hive. Hive has a fascinating history related to the world's largest social networking site, which is Facebook. Facebook adopted the Hadoop framework to manage their big data. You might already know that big data is nothing but massive amounts of data that cannot be stored, processed, and analyzed by traditional systems. Hadoop uses MapReduce to process data. With MapReduce, users were required to write long and extensive Java code. Not all users were well versed with Java and other coding languages. Users were comfortable with writing queries in SQL, structured query language, and they wanted a language similar to SQL. The idea was to incorporate the concepts of tables and columns just like SQL. Hive is a data warehouse system that is used to query and analyze large datasets stored in the HDFS. Hive uses a query language called HiveQL, which is similar to SQL. As seen from the image, the user first sends out the Hive queries. These queries are converted into MapReduce tasks, and that accesses the Hadoop MapReduce system. In the next section of the Hive tutorial, let's now take a look at the architecture of the Hive. The architecture of the Hive is as shown. We start with the Hive client, who could be the programmer who is proficient in SQL, to look up the data that is needed. The Hive client supports different types of client applications in different languages to perform queries. Thrift is a software framework. The Hive server is based on Thrift, so it can serve requests from all of the programming languages that support Thrift. Next, we have the JDBC, Java Database Connectivity, application, and Hive JDBC driver. The JDBC application is connected through the JDBC driver. Then we have an ODBC, Open Database Connectivity, application connected through the ODBC driver. All these client requests are submitted to the Hive server. In addition to the above, we also have the Hive Web Interface, or GUI, where programmers execute Hive queries. Commands are executed directly in CLI. Up next is the Hive driver, which is responsible for all the queries submitted. It performs 3 steps internally. Compiler. The Hive driver passes the query to the compiler where it is checked and analyzed. Optimizer. It provides optimized logical plan in the form of a graph of MapReduce and HDFS tasks is obtained. Executor. In the final step, the tasks are executed. Metastore is a repository for Hive metadata. It stores metadata for Hive tables, and you can think of this as your schema. This is located on the Apache Darby DB. Hive uses the MapReduce framework to process queries. Finally, we have distributed storage, which is HDFS. Now, let us understand, how does the data flow in the Hive? Data flow in the Hive contains the Hive and Hadoop system. Underneath the user interface, we have driver, compiler, execution engine, and metastore. All of that goes into the MapReduce and the Hadoop file system. The data flow in the sequence. We execute a query, which goes into the driver. Then the driver asks for the plan, which refers to the query execution. After this, the compiler gets the metadata from the metastore. The metastore responds with the metadata. The compiler gathers this information and sends the plan back to the driver. Now, the driver sends the execution plan to the execution engine. The execution engine acts as a bridge between the Hive and Hadoop to process the query. In addition to this, the execution engine also communicates bidirectionally with the metastore to perform various operations, such as create and drop tables. Finally, we have a bidirectional communication to fetch and send results back to the client. That was how data flows in the Hive. Let's now take a look at Hive data modeling, which consists of tables, partitions, and buckets. Tables. Tables in Hive are created the same way it is done in RDBMS. Partitions. Here, tables are organized into partitions for grouping similar types of data based on the partition key. Buckets. Data present in partitions can be further divided into buckets for efficient querying. Now, as you have understood what is Hive data modeling, let us dive into the Hive data types. There are different Hive data types. These are classified as primitive and complex data types. Primitive data types. Numeric data types. Data types like integral, float, decimal. String data type. Data types like char, string. Date, time data type. Data types like timestamp, date, interval. Miscellaneous data type. Data types like Boolean and binary. Complex data types. Arrays, a collection of the same entities. The syntax is array data type. Maps, a collection of key value pairs, and the syntax is map primitive type, data type. Structs, a collection of complex data with comments. Syntax, struct call name, data type, comment call comment. Units, a collection of heterogeneous data types. Syntax, union type data type, data type. Next, let us move on to understand the modes Hive operates in. Hive operates in two modes depending on the number and size of data nodes. They are local mode, used when Hadoop has one data node and the amount of data is small. Here, the processing will be very fast on smaller datasets, which are present in local machines. MyProduce mode, used when the data in Hadoop is spread across multiple data nodes. Processing large datasets can be more efficient using this mode. Difference between Hive and RDBMS. RDBMS, which stands for Relational Database Management System, also works with tables. But what is the difference between Hive and RDBMS? Hive enforces schema on reading. Hive data size is in petabytes. Hive is based on the notion of write once and read many times. Hive resembles a traditional database by supporting SQL, but it is not a database, it is a data warehouse. Easily scalable at low cost. RDBMS enforces schema on write. Data size is in terabytes. RDBMS is based on the notion of reading and write many times. RDBMS is a type of database management system, which is based on the relational model of data, not scalable at low cost. Now, let us get to know the features of Hive. The use of a SQL-like language called HiveQL in Hive is easier than long codes. In Hive, tables are used that are similar to RDBMS, hence easier to understand. By using HiveQL, multiple users can simultaneously query data. Hive supports a variety of data formats. Hive demo. Finally, we will go through a quick Hive demo, which will help us understand how HiveQL works. Before diving into the demo, you can have a quick look at the Hive website, which is hive.apache.org. Hortonworks provides a useful Hive cheat sheet too. It shows the different HiveQL commands and various data types. Now let's run our Hive demo on a Hadoop cluster. We will use the Cloudera Quick Start, which has the Hadoop set up on a single node. Hadoop and Hive are designed to run across a cluster of computers, but here we are talking about a single node. Therefore, we will start with the Cloudera Quick Start. When you are in Cloudera, you can access the Hive in two ways. The first one is by using Hue, which has more visuals than code. The screen will look like this. Once you click on Hive, as seen above, you can start writing queries in the query space. The downside of Hue is that it can be slow. Now we will move on to the Linux terminal window and start writing commands. You have to start by typing the Hive. This will start the shell. Your screen will now look like the following. Now type this. We are creating a database called the Office. This command shows the created database. This command drops the Office database as it is empty. Executing this will drop the tables in the database when it is not empty. Create database office. We will recreate the database office. This command sets Office as the default database. Then open another terminal window. We already have a file named employee.tcsv, which we will be using. The content of the file is as seen above. The data has a header, and below it, all the values are given. These values are comma separated. You will then type the following. This command displays the path. This command lets you edit the content of the table and remove any extra spaces. Go back to the Hive shell and enter the following command. As we don't want to execute the line in addition to this, type the following schema for our database. If you already have it ready, you can paste it. We put a semicolon at the end and run these lines. Then type show tables. You will see the employee displayed. You can also type describe employee. You will see the data and its types described. After this, you can go back to the Linux terminal and copy the path and enter the following commands. We put content into the table. Then we can type, this command displays all the content. This will start the count and finally displays the number of rows. For this command, observe the results by your own for this query. Hive also gives you the ability to alter the table and rename it. You can then have a look at the renamed table. Now, go back to the loading data and see the tables by navigating back to the terminal window. Then, go ahead and type the cat commands to display the data. We just completed the above operation to join the different datasets. This is very helpful if you have to find particular information. This is how the join works, and it is the widespread use of HiveQL. After this, you can also go ahead and perform the drop operation, along with Cascade. You can also try out a few functions used in Hive. Let's have a look at a few of them. Look at a yabist. It rounds off the value to the nearest highest integer. This command rounds off any positive or negative decimal value down to the next least integer value. For example, 2.3 will be changed to 2. This function is used to get the smallest integer which is greater than or equal to the specified numeric expression. For example, the value 2.3 will be changed into 3. All the HiveQL queries are very similar to SQL. The commands are easy to understand and perform. We hope you have liked our video. Which part you liked the most? Type in comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Stay connected to learn more.